Well, I think it's gone well. I mean, but you got a bunch of really good guys in that room, so it's not like it's not reinventing the wheel. You're talking about a team that has had such great success through the years, and so I'm just kind of coming in here and trying to fit in where I can. And but I got a real good room and mature kids, so they've been good.
The first week or two, though, are you just head into the playbook trying to
Absolutely.
learn nomenclature? I mean, explain
Absolutely.
what you went through those first several.
Just drinking out of a fire hose, you get going fast and furious, and but it is what it is. And really, the offenses aren't that different. Really, it's just that, like you said, it's nomenclature, it's the terminology, and instead of them trying to learn, a lot of the players trying to learn a lot of my new buzzwords, I'm trying to learn all theirs. So there's not that much difference for them, but yeah, it's been good, and we've got a really good staff, and they help out too, and like I said, the players know the playbook, they know what's going on too. So I'm not trying to come in here and act like I know everything, because I don't, obviously, and so it's been good. It's been a good transition.
Immediately right away, what is the difference really dealing with Urban Meyer as opposed to dealing with Coach Kelly? What have you noticed that's a little bit different?
Wow. Really just, everyone has different management styles, and to say which one is better or worse that's not fair to anyone. But
what's different about?
I would just say, the intensity level of everything all the time. From the time you set foot in here till the time you walk out of here, and then some. So that's probably the biggest thing.
When you contemplate taking a job here, obviously it's Ohio State, but when you get to coach a kid like Ezekiel Elliott, how much of a when you get that kid, is it pretty easy to make that decision to come here?
I don't know. Is it pretty easy to drive a Lexus? I mean, I'm driving a Volkswagen. No, that's not true, because listen, I'm not saying I'm driving a Volkswagen, so everybody don't take that back like Tari and Folsom. Those guys are really good players too. But in all seriousness, no, it certainly helps. It certainly helps to come in and have great players around and some guys that really understand how to work. But I've been very fortunate in my career. Everywhere I've been, I've had some guys that really work hard and the game's important to them. But coming to a situation, like I said, into a situation like this, it's a great situation for me personally.
You guys made the decision to move Curtis up H-back receiver a little bit. Obviously, Urban said that was to get him in the game more snaps. But does that say anything about the confidence that you have in the guys behind Zeke as well?
Well, I think so. Like I said, I think you have a bunch of guys that can really play and hopefully play winning football here. But that's why we're practicing, so they can improve on their skill set as well. But yeah, those guys have been working. But again, Curtis has got an opportunity to really make some plays. He's a big-time playmaker, I think, and got to find ways to get the ball in his hands. And sitting next to me is not a good way to do that.
Tony, did you though? I mean, do you actually challenge a guy like Briante? Hey, this is sort of your chance. I mean,
absolutely.
Ezekiel's on the sideline.
Absolutely. We had that conversation, and we did have that conversation. This is your opportunity to really get a bunch of reps, and what you do with them is up to you. And every single day is an opportunity for you to improve and get better every single day. And that's for everybody. That's not just for Bree, but that's for everybody. And but he has taken to that challenge, I think, and a lot of improvement still to go. Not just saying he's reached the pinnacle by any stretch, but yeah, absolutely. We talked about it. You have an opportunity but every single rep matters at all times. You're just now getting more of them because there's less guys in front in line.
Tony, when Zeke is on the sideline during spring, what do you try and get out of him? What's the goal for a guy who's injured?
Well, he's still doing a lot of work, with Mick and his crew, so he gets a lot of work in that way, and some individual stuff. But really, he's doing the mental reps are big. The mental reps are big, and just because you've had some success in the past, there's still opportunities to grow and learn and see things. So, the mental reps can be very vital, just as game repetition, so are mental reps.
This might be speculation from my part, but for a guy who has had a lot of carries after a year like that at a position where you take a physical toll, is there a benefit for you guys to ease off of him?
Well, yeah. I mean, you can only your body only has so many shots in them, and so it does help his body recover and continually recovering, as that's a process one into itself. But like we said, it also gives some other guys an opportunity to get in and get some quality reps and learn to play as well. So yeah, but he's going to have a big summer too, and continue to get better. But the one thing you love about Zeke, he's hungry. He wants to play, and it's killing him not to play now. But and he's a high energy guy, as you guys all know, and for me it's cool because I had the opportunity. I recruited him out of high school, so I've known him and his family for a long time. So it's great to be great to be around those guys.
Tony, speaking of recruiting, coming from Notre Dame, you were their point man or one of their top recruiters. Says everybody on the internet.
See how much you guys don't know, right?
The pundits. That's the
Don't believe everything you hear.
Pundits. coming to Ohio State, obviously that was a huge emphasis for Urban, getting a guy that, you know, can recruit. How do you go about replacing a guy like Stan Drayton? Do you take his territories? What are your responsibilities? And how was the transition from a recruiting standpoint?
Well, you know, I am going to have some of the same territory that he had previously. And listen, I'm not Stan Drayton. I know Stan. We're friends. I'm Tony Alford. I'm going to be the best Tony Alford I can be, and that's going to have to be good enough. And but Stan left some big shoe prints, no doubt, and he did a fabulous job. And like I said, my job is here just to come in here and do the best that I can do for this football program. One thing they have some really good recruiters here already. If they didn't, you wouldn't have the players that you have on this football team. So, you know, it's not like I'm coming here trying to reinvent the wheel in recruiting. I'm just another guy in the call, and we'll do the best that I can. But
when you leave a place and you're probably going to be recruiting a lot of the same guys, you already have relationships and whatnot, what are the challenges of, you know, kind of stepping forward in a new place and, you know, not only maybe adapting new recruiting territories, but also recruiting the same guys with a different shirt on?
Well, you know, I think that, you know, when you do things, you have, in recruiting too, you tell them the truth. And for me, okay, why did you do it? Why did I do what I had to do? And I tell them why, and that's the truth. And as they look at things, they have to really, I think in recruiting, guys have to understand and really look inwardly about what is it that they aspire, what are they really looking for at the end of the day, and see, does the Ohio State, does it fit? Does that fit what they really aspire to have in their lives, you know, moving forward? So the messages are very similar. It's just doing what's best for you in your life and what you're looking for.
Well, why did you move? What final analysis? Why did you move Notre Dame, Ohio State? I mean, that's too, like you said, Texas or
you know, yeah, you know. Well, no, I mean, listen, I was at a great place, and make no bones about that. I was at a fantastic place that took great care of me and my family, and I almost was treated unfairly, being so kind to me as they were, and it was, you know, it was an agonizing decision because I'd been there a long time, but for my professional growth, I thought this would be best for me, and that's not taking anything away from Jack Schwarbrick and Brian Kelly and Father John. They, like I said, they're fabulous, and they got such great respect and admiration for them and that university, but for my personal and for my professional growth, I had to do this, and I got an unbelievable amount of respect for Urban, the guy I played for. I've known him since I was in my early 20s, and Earl Bruce, and the great job and the great history of this place, and thought it'd be good for me and to put on my resume too as I continue to move forward in this profession.
You mentioned one of the differences is the intensity from the time you set foot in here to the time you leave. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Is it not like that most places?
No, and please don't be misled. It's very intense where I came from.
Right.
You know, just the level of it, the consistent level of it is a little bit different. And I can't speak for what it's like everywhere else. I don't know. I haven't been everywhere else. You know, but listen, the last place I came from, they've had some great success there too, and so that's not to say and disparage about them whatsoever. But you know, I think that Urban is. Coach is involved in sees everything, and he's involved in every aspect of it at all times, and the message is clear. It's very clear, and it's articulated every single day, 1,000 times a day, so there's no mistake, and I love it.
Hey, Tony, how familiar are you with the Cleveland area? That was a very important.
Not real familiar right now at this time.
But, very important.
No doubt. There's great football in the state. There's great football in the state of Ohio, high school football, and so I will get into the Cleveland area, and there's some guys that I know that I'm gonna have to build some relationships with high school coaches, and so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to getting out and meeting all those guys, and like I said, building those relationships, as they've already started some.
How much of a challenge is it to start fresh, or not so fresh, but in an area that's so important?
I guess, you know, I look at recruiting, it's just about building relationships, and I think if you have the ability to go in and the mindset of going in, I am who I am, and you know, when you go anywhere new, it's like moving to a new neighborhood. It's like taking a new job. You walk in, it's a new place. You got to make friends. You got to figure out how you fit and who's who, and who the major players are in the area, and start befriending them. But again, I think that if you're yourself, if you can sell yourself, getting in the door, of being a forthright person and doing things the right way. I mean, you're starting a new area, but wherever I've coached, right? At any point in time, he had to start somewhere, right? So I mean, it is what it is.
You could understand we're friends. Did you reach out to him?
I'm sorry?
You and Stan are friends. Did you reach out to him, ask for advice? Did he help in any way to kind of help it?
Yeah, we talked. We talked before I ever accepted the job. You know, we actually spoke within hours after him accepting the job in Chicago. We had some kind of, you know, he called and said, hey, you know, I just left. And I was like, oh, and he said, here's some things. What would you be interested in, you know, maybe looking at Ohio State? But yeah, and we spoken. But you know, listen, I have to come in here and do my own evaluation. I don't want to take the evaluation of someone else on who Ezekiel Elliott is or who Warren Ball is or you know, Brianna. I don't want someone else's evaluation. We can certainly talk, but I want to make my own evaluation and not go in with some preconceived ideas and notions on who someone is. And just as I wouldn't want someone to come in with preconceived notions on who I am. You know, I'll show you who I am, and if that's good enough, great. If it's not, well, it is what it is. But so I want to pay those players the same respect. But Stan and I have certainly talked, and he's doing well.
You can understand Mike Weber. You know, I think he's one of the guys you probably talked to right after. His maybe concern or maybe I don't know, not understanding what was going on there for 36 hours. I mean,
Mike Weber. You know, listen, you're talking about some young guys.
Yeah.
You know, and I think as they become older and I don't know if I'm going to say wise or not, but when they get old, I don't know if I get wiser, but more worldly. They forgot that things are done. There's some business decisions that are made all the time. And, again, it is what it is. But Mike's a mature kid. He's going to be fine. Mm-hmm. You know, and I talked to Mike, and he was fine. I think a lot of people were making, you know, a lot of media was probably making it bigger than what it really was.
Can you imagine being the taffy in a Michigan-Ohio State pull? I mean, that's
you allow yourself to be.
Yeah.
You only listen. You're not gonna pull me anywhere if I don't want to be pulled.
Yeah.
You know. So, but like I said, I think it was probably made from my vantage point. It was probably made a lot bigger than what it really was.
You mentioned your time at Colorado State. What were your impressions of Coach Meyer back then?
Wow. Really? Okay, you take and multiply by 100, just younger. No, he was great. I mean, he coached the receivers, but he had some great mentors, and you know, in Earl and actually I'm gonna have dinner with Coach tonight. It'd be great to see him again. But yeah, you could tell the guy had, you know, he had a passion and a fire about doing things, and not just doing it, but doing them right. And very particular about the finer details of everything that happens. And so for him to be doing that now, whatever, 20 some odd years later, it's no surprise.
What's it like to go through that interview process with him? Is it intimidating? Is it intense? What's that?
No, I don't know. I mean, it's intense, but I mean, I wouldn't say intimidating because I'm confident in my abilities. I'm confident in what I do. So, and I'd like to think that if he wasn't confident in what I could do, he wouldn't have reached out to me, right? So, I mean, listen, I think I'm pretty adept at what I do too, and so I'm fortunate and I'm honored. You know, I'm honored that he would think that highly of me because, again, you're talking about a team that's coming off a national title. You're talking about a guy who a room full of guys that are really good players and could go anywhere and get anybody he wants to talk to about coming here to coach, and he chose me. So I'm very fortunate. I'm very honored and blessed. But yeah, I mean, it was all right.
Tony, what do you bring? If you had to tell people, what do you bring to the table? You think more than anything else? What do you bring to the table?
I think I'm bringing someone who's. I think I'm honest about day's work. I'm honest about how I do my business. I am passionate about it and what and the way I coach. I think I'm a guy that really works to get close to his players, mm-hmm. and you know, there's a lot of mentorship involved in coaching. You wear a lot of different hats. You know, you're not just coaching ball, but you're disciplinarian. A lot of times you're confident. A lot of times, so you wear a lot of different hats. But I love that about this. That's what I love about the college game versus potentially going to the NFL. For me right now is I like to be able to see how guys grow and mature through time. And so I'm consistent. But I'm very consistent about the things that I want in the way that I handle my business.
Hey, Tony, I would imagine that Notre Dame and Ohio State are similar in a lot of ways and different in a lot of ways. How does your sales pitch change when you're talking to prospects?
Can't tell you that. You know, I don't know. I'm still learning a lot about this university and the ins and outs of the university. You know, one of the sales pitches you got is you're holding up this trophy, right? That's a big one in itself, right? And you know, you're playing in a great conference, so there's a lot of selling points, and I shouldn't say selling points. That's probably the wrong word to use. There's a lot of things to present. There's a lot of this is a big presentation at the Ohio State University. You still got to sell this place. It presents itself. You just got to be able to present it.
How crazy is it working for, like, or everybody talks about Urban's intensity from a development standpoint and everything he does football-wise, but from a recruiting standpoint, he's always been referred to as relentless.
He is, and he's on it. And it's great, but it's great. It's great because you know that you have your head coach's support in recruiting, and he's going to be in the middle of it, and which again is forcing you to be on top of your game at all times with everything because you know he sees it and he's on top of it too. So. And you know, when you have the entire staff working in conjunction with one another, it's a good situation. It's a good situation to be in.